September 23rd right now. Set up on public land. This public land hardly gets any hunting pressure. I'm like maybe 100 yards from a house. And there's probably like a couple hundred acres of homes, big subdivision that way, all the way to the lake. On that side of the road over there, there's a whole bunch of like mowed trails. People walk their dogs all the time over there. But on this side of the road, it's all just swamp. And no one ever comes over here. There's a big cottonwood tree right there. When I was getting right into this low stuff, I kicked up a deer like right in here somewhere, and it took off running that way. Hopefully that was just a doe, but it was just one single deer. It might have been a small buck, but I didn't see any sizable rack. I saw it running through the brush. There was a few fresh rubs on the edge of this grass field when I was coming down in here on the small trees. They looked like they're a couple weeks old though, but I probably should have stayed back on the edge of that grass field because there was a whole bunch of heavy trails right in here I didn't know about. So they're crossing through here a lot, and it'd be an early season. I probably should have stayed back, but I pushed on through here to get to this nice observation tree. You can see that house is right there. This way I can overlook this large cattail area. And if I see anything nice come out like way down there, I can come up with a game plan either for tomorrow night or sometime this weekend maybe. This public land is only about 2 minutes from where I live, so it's really nice. And like I said, no one ever hunts here. I usually don't hunt here too much. It's just a really small spot. There's a lot of does in here. Every year I hunt this or shed hunt it, I always kick up does everywhere. Because like I said, it's not being hunted. But usually there's some buck sign, but not fantastic buck sign. Like 2-year-old, 3-year-old bucks. There's usually not too many really nice bucks around. But it'll be interesting to see what comes out. I bet I'll see something. There's a lot of does in here. But yeah, the wind is all going. Right here's that nice grassy area I can overlook. The wind is all going like this, kind of towards that house. So nothing in there should smell me. Last year I had a couple does come in right by that buckthorn bush in the middle of the screen. And they smelt me because that night the wind was like shifting all different directions. But the wind is pretty constant, about 10 miles an hour going that way. Anything down in here will probably smell my ground scent right where I crossed through here. And like I said, I jumped that deer like right back here somewhere. And right by that buckthorn out there, I know there's a heavy trail that comes like directly underneath the tree here somewhere. So if something does come from out there, it should just work its way right to underneath the tree. And maybe I can get a shot through the brush somewhere in here. That doe and that fawn just worked their way right up to that grassy field. They must have been bedded right there in between me and the house. That little patch of brush, they got up, they came out, just slowly walked off that way. Oh, right there they are. They're walking right through my ground scent. That's the only nice thing about hunting suburban deer. There's like a mowed trail. One mowed trail, there's just like a loop around this little bit of grass. It goes from the road out along the brush here, and then back up. And I walked down along the corn, came down like this, and then cut through right by that big cottonwood right to here. And they literally just walked right through my ground scent without snorting or spooking at all. And they're just working their way towards the corn now. Well, back at home now. Literally a 2-minute drive, like I said earlier in the video. Man, I just wanted to get out of there. Once I stayed in the stand probably for almost an extra 45 minutes, honestly, because I kept hearing stuff once it got dark. That buck was out there in that open grassy area for quite a while. I got some okay footage. You can really see his rack. That was a really nice deer. That's the best hunt I've ever had at that property, and probably one of the best hunts I've ever had early season hunting like this. And you know, just seen a monster buck. That was only maybe at the very most about a mile from home. I think I might have recognized that buck actually from our backyard food plots. It was a super wide 8-pointer last year. Looked like a somewhat young buck, maybe a very good 2-year-old, but probably a 3-year-old. And I make him 4 now, and that looked like a definitely mature buck. Thick rack, big body. When he started coming in for a little bit there, my heart really started going. If he would have just moved a little bit earlier, he probably would have ended up going on that same trail, because I think he might have actually gone on that same trail as that little buck earlier in the video, because after it got dark, I think there was some deer sneaking up behind me in that other area between the cottonwood and the elm tree I was hunting out of. And then there was at one point either a raccoon, because there was raccoons walking underneath my stand on a little raccoon trail. There was at least 3 or 4 of them that passed. I didn't get any footage of them. That was when that little buck was around too. But something came right to the base of the tree, and I'm pretty sure it was a deer. It didn't sound like a raccoon. It sounded a little bigger, and I think it almost looked right up at me. It was so dark I could barely even see. It was either a doe or possibly even that big buck, because that whatever walked to the bottom of my tree stayed there for about 30 seconds, then it kind of just turned around and walked away, and it sounded like definitely a deer. And like I said, there was stuff just mingling around the area, either raccoons or deer, and it was just freaking me out. I didn't want to spook that big buck. I don't believe I spooked him that bad, but I definitely boogered up the spot. He's probably going to cross my ground scent eventually. You can see that doe and that fawn really early in the video didn't care about my ground scent. Literally 30 minutes after I was there, that big buck, if he runs across my ground scent trail, it's going to put him on edge, and he's not going to move probably. Well, I don't really know what he's going to do, but I just hope he doesn't run across my ground scent, and I can maybe get in there tomorrow night or possibly Saturday night. Tomorrow's not a good day to go in because it's going to be like 75, almost 80 degrees again tomorrow. Today's high was right around like 70 or 68 or something like that. And then yesterday was the really good day. Yesterday was the day the high was like 62 degrees. I couldn't get out and hunt because I had a dentist appointment. I had scheduled that 6 months ago, so what are the chances of that? And yeah, that's just that big buck. He was coming in like that little one. He might have walked through that same trail last night during daylight. It's just tonight was a little bit not as good of a movement night. Still pretty good though, it seemed like, and was just a couple minutes late. I don't know exactly what he did yesterday, but that was just, like I said, a cool hunt. On my way out and packing up the stand, I didn't hear any deer blow off or snort in the distance, so I don't think I boogered up the spot too bad. I sat an extra 45 minutes just to be safe, just to let everything just slowly filter out. Yeah, that was a heck of a hunt. So I'll have more hunting videos coming. I only upload a hunting video when I get decent footage of deer. A lot of times I see deer and it's just a little split second through the brush. What's the point of uploading that? That was a heck of a hunt. So just figured I'll share this with you guys. That was pretty cool. See you in the next video, I guess.